Productivity is focusing on the most important thing. And if you only do one thing, it's like that is the thing that you do.
You're listening to the Traffic and Funnels Show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Traffic and Funnels podcast. Here with your host, Chris Evans and Taylor Lil Tay Welch.
Lil Tay Welch.
Woo!
That's
we just got back from Paris, France, not Paris, Alabama. And it was a phenomenal trip. Should we just give a quick update on the trip?
Yes, dude. Do everything. Do all of it.
We decided months ago that, it'd be amazing to go to Paris. And then it'd be amazing to have an event in Paris. And then we were like, it would be amazing not only to go to Paris, have an event in Paris, but have Jay Abraham, the best looking man in marketing, come and share his pearls of wisdom with our clients.
He is actually a good looking man. And I say
he's a studly muffin.
I say that because I feel like the world doesn't give him his fair share.
That is true. Jay, if you're listening, which we know you listen to this podcast.
He listens to every episode. And
every single episode, our biggest fan.
We said, when he got there, we said, dude, I love the new hair. I love the new bracelet. It's just really good. And he's like, oh, you're too kind. And we're like, no, Jay, it's the truth. People need to know and recognize your preeminence.
So the event was great. We had it at the Ritz in Paris. The location was amazing. The content was phenomenal. Not only did we have Jay there, but we had Eli, who is our partner in sales mentor.
Partner in crime.
Tony Robbins, top sales guy.
Yep.
He talked about sales. You talked about sales.
I talked about sales.
Jay talked about the strategy of preeminence. We did hot seats.
We did a lot of hot seats. Yep.
What else did we do in Paris?
We looked at the beautiful buildings. We ate croissants and pastries.
Croissants?
I think I had more carbs in that week in Paris than I had all of 2019. The coffee was extraordinaire and exquisite. And we just had a good time. We had some really cool clients there too. There were some.
Yeah.
There were a couple 7-figure monthly earners in the room, and Jay's just the kind of guy that we say this a lot, but he's been through so much. He's been through so many iterations, cycles, economic ups, economic downs. It's just cool when you get it to sit in a room with somebody like that and be like, how did you make it how did you survive the last economic crash? And he says, well, here's what I did. And actually we grew during the economic crash. And it's like, wow, it gives you so much belief, so much certainty, so much power. And who knows how old Jay is at this point. He's probably been through several recessions, but he's still a whippersnapper, man. He's still got his game, which is awesome.
It was a lot of fun too, hanging out. He brought his wife, Christy, with him.
Yes.
She was a pleasure to have a conversation with and talk to and see the different side, the better half of Jay Abraham. So, Christy, we know you're listening as well. Shout out to you. But on another note, we're back. The podcast's back in action. What are we talking about today?
Productivity, morning formula, how we make so much money.
How do we say productivity in Le France?
Productiviteit.
Ah, yes.
Productiviteit. Yeah.
Be careful what you're saying there.
The French are not productive. Let's just get that out of the way. There's not a coffee shop that opens before 9 o'clock. I don't know how they make money and stuff, but whatever.
Well, they take it. The government takes it from everybody, and then they redistribute it.
They have figured out what Bernie Sanders is trying to do.
Yep.
Which is not. We're not going to talk about that on this show today. But productivity.
That's
Dude,
next week.
Do you remember when we came out with the first training on the morning formula?
Yeah.
Where were you? What were you doing when we first?
I'd say it was the year 1995.
Nope, not that long ago.
And I was sitting at Starbucks. No, it was pretty early days of TF.
Very early days. So I think this will be an interesting topic because the way you do productivity and the way I do productivity or productivity is quite different. And I was writing last night in my journal, or my diary, as the French would say. And I was actually giving you some cred, bro, in my journal. Because I was like, I need to make sure that I'm focusing on the top 10%, the top 20%, not getting into the weeds. Chris is someone who's really good at this. He is very good at not sacrificing short term, or he's very good at not sacrificing long term for short term. And so we tend to have different angles that we're good at. And the morning formula for me was designed because I am pretty chronically emotional. I'm pretty up and down. When I wake up in the morning, I tend to be frustrated. And you're like, don't email me after this show. I don't have issues. I'm fine, okay? But I am a artistic, emotional being. And you tend to be very stable and prolific and steady. And you're not trying to sell the business every 3 days because you're mad at somebody. And so for me, I created the morning formula so that I could sort of get on your level in terms of my consistent, the way I show up. And it turned and morphed into this idea of normalizing, and productivity is a wasted space. And here's why I say that. You can become extremely productive at non-prolific activities, and you'll be broke. You can become extremely productive at doing things that don't matter. And so for us, the idea of productivity is not necessarily just doing more. It's doing less of the stuff that sucks and doing more of the things that are going to advance you. I'm obsessed with this idea recently of the term advance. Because really the point of life is to advance in every area, to become healthy in every area, not just your bank account, but your relationships, your spirituality, your generosity, your fulfillment. I feel like productivity is about doing more of the right things, less of the wrong things. That's where the productivity pack came from. Morning formula came from that.
And if you guys haven't seen the productivity pack, it is amazing. Not only do business people use it, and we'll talk about this more in the show later, but people who aren't, quote, in business. We've gotten amazing feedback, but big props to Taylor because he actually created the productivity pack. And the material and our whole team uses it, and the majority of our clients use it. And this is something that Taylor is really good at is kind of thinking in this really like, what is the vehicle that I can create to get me from point A to point B? And that's the morning formula, right? He saw like a gap and created this thing to help get him from point A to point B, productivity pack to get him from point A to point B. And I think one of the things that people don't really talk about that we've recently discovered in the power of productivity is really comes down to what you're willing to say yes to versus what you're willing to say no to. And giving ourselves permission to say yes to the things that we want to say yes to. Right? One of the things that we've talked about, especially for 2020, is going all in on what we enjoy. And I feel like in the past, I know for me, I feel like so often I had to do something just out of obligation, which never tends to, for the long term, doesn't work well. Versus, is this my burning passion? Do I wake up and I'm just pumped to do this? And I think if you could take that mindset, in addition to the framework and the system of the productivity pack and what is taught in there, and combine those, I think you have like jet rocket fuel to absolutely accomplish amazing things and dominate, not just in business, but in life.
Bro, on that topic, because I think there might be people who are like, well, man, that's nice for you to say, but like, what if I need to pay the bills? What about doing things that suck because it's the right thing to do for now? You're not saying that you're a hedonistic individual where you only do things that pleasure you and you don't,
like Louis the 14th.
Like Louis the 14th, who had many, many wives and many, many children.
Many mistresses.
But I think there's a spectrum here, dude. Like at the beginning, we had to participate in activities that we didn't really enjoy because there was a priority going on. And the first priority was taking care of our family and taking care of our income and really taking care of the things that we needed to take care of. But when you get to a certain point, your focus has to switch to this dirty word that actually is not a dirty word. It's actually a wonderful word that nobody wants to talk about. And it's not sales. It's not money. It's longevity. Longevity, as the
French would say.
As the French would say, longevity. And dude, that's where we're at right now, where it's like, at the end of the day, if we keep subjecting ourselves to things that are good for now, but not good for 20 years, that's where you see people really crest and then go out of the game. because they don't love the game anymore. The only reason LeBron is still playing is because he loves the game. He's built in longevity into the way he treats himself and the way he treats his habits.
Brady.
You know what I mean? Tom Brady.
Yep.
Same. So if you're like, man, well, I just need to make money. Well, that's fine. But do the difficult things, do the hard things that are going to set you up to be able to escape that. We don't work for money anymore. We work for passion and for play, and we work to really impact the things that we're interested in. And the first step is buying the productivity pack.
Insert commercial.
Insert commercial here, Bryant. Just do it. Okay? Anyways, Bryant, I feel like Bryant is always on this, and he's always hiding in the background, but he never actually tells us what to do, so we just have to flounder around.
Roll with the punches.
Just rolling with the punches right now, dude. It's amazing.
The thing about, I think that's important for people to realize, and we'll drop some nugs here on productivity in the productivity pack, is it really comes down to focusing on what is the most important thing today, this week, this month. Right? Because I actually had this conversation with one of our guys this morning. It's like we have the option and the ability to do so much stuff. But does that move the needle to where we are going? Does that accelerate us to the destination? And so I'd say two things right now to you. One, first, you must know exactly where you're going, what you want. It is phenomenal the amount of people that we talk to, being clients, that they don't know what they want. They don't know what the destination is.
Role play this with me real fast, and let me tell you how most of the world lives. Just say, what do you want, Taylor?
What do you want, Taylor?
Well, I don't like this, and I don't like that, and Trump did this, and I really don't want to be in this position. Everybody wants to focus on what they don't want. Nobody wants the actual torque and power that comes from even knowing what you can't get from point A to point B if you do not know what point B is.
Yes.
You can't get from A to B if you only know what you don't want point B to be.
Yes.
Point B to B, B, B.
Preach.
Little B.
Preach, preacher.
All right, back to you.
What was I going to say? The second point was know what you want, and then, know the biggest piece of leverage to get you there. What is the hinge on the door that's going to swing the door?
The big rocks.
The big rocks. What is that one thing? If you could only do one thing to get you from A to B, what would that be? And that's how you start to prioritize. It's not like, how can I get a million things done a day? That's not productivity. Productivity is focusing on the most important thing. And if you only do one thing, it's like that is the thing that you do.
Bro, isn't it crazy how simple it actually is?
Simple.
Like I was scrolling through posts in ClientKit this morning, and people are building bots, and people are trying to build teams of media buyers, and it's nothing that's bad in and of itself. But people are like, can you get to 100K without a team per month? And it's like, yeah, we did it. We did it. Can you get to 100K a month without ads? Yeah. We did it. Clients are doing it. The human brain wants to inject complexity into everything all the time. And I think success comes down to stripping everything down to what you would say the studs. Take all of everything away except for the foundation and the fundamentals. And when you nail the fundamentals, when you get really good at the fundamentals, like waking up on time. Some of you are failing in business because you can't figure out how to get out of bed before 7:00.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I have a team issue. No, you're a loser issue. Like you can't even go to the gym. People have personal problems and personal crises that bleed over into their work. They want to blame Facebook pixels and YouTube, but there's this thing called energy transference. We can go at this from a spiritual level. We can go from a scientific level. It doesn't matter. It's all the same at the end of the day. You begin to inflict upon the world the things that you don't like about yourself, the things that you can't fix about yourself. And I feel like even with our own team right now, I'm in this mode of like our salespeople and even our client success people. It's like, if you're failing in a certain area in your job or your work or your role, it's usually because you're not taking care of some part of your life. You're not being a good steward of your time. You're not, let's just bring it closer to home because I feel like we're not hitting people hard enough. Let me just bring this right up into your face. You're probably failing in business because, you have a child at home who you're not spending time with and you feel out of alignment.
Oh,
That's rough.
True.
That's rough. Or maybe you're like, man, I'm really struggling to spend, money on ads because I promised my wife this and I'm behind on my promises. And so you're out of alignment. You're not in buy-in with, I was talking to AJ, who's an elite, and his wife told him to do something and he didn't do it and it didn't work out. And I said, always listen to your wife, first rule of leadership. And we laughed about it. But
first rule of not being stupid.
bro, alignment's such a big deal because we got all these people who, man, they're trying to build something, but they don't have the fundamental mastery to actually be a successful human first.
Yeah.
Who you are as a person will always supersede what you can build in business.
Yeah. And I'd say, just to highlight something, is a lot of it is subconscious. Like, you are going to do things based on your subconscious, right? That's the majority of the actions you take based on what your subconscious is feeding you and directing your body to do. And so you have all these things going on, a lot of them subconscious. It's based on conversations you've had with people, experiences you've had, conversations you're having with yourself that are causing you to act and be directed into certain ways. And so you might have some subconscious things going on, like what Taylor's talking about, where you have some kind of issue, you have some kind of wedge, some kind of block, whether it's something with your wife or your kids or whatever, that's keeping you from actually dominating. Right? You are not like fully wide open, full throttle, because you have this drag. And so that's the thing that you really do. You have to be clear-headed and have all these things erased and removed. And again, had a conversation with one of the guys on the team this morning about this very topic. But it's phenomenal how powerful that is. So know what you want, and then know the biggest pieces of leverage that are going to get you from A to B, and get the productivity pack. Obviously, it's going to give you.
Oui.
You say oui, oui,
Oui, Madame,
Oui.
Monsieur,
Madame, Monsieur, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Trafficandfunnels.com/pro. Trafficandfunnels.com/pro. It's a ridiculously low price for the value that you're going to get.
Hey, this is, if you're listening to this way later, the price of this is increasing, I think, November 1.
Uh-oh.
So if this is after November 1, 2019, still get it, but you're screwed because you paid more than everyone else, sucker. And if you're listening to this before November 1, is the lowest price that you're ever going to get. There's people message us who are in totally unrelated fields, not even in marketing, and they're like, this actually saved my life, basically, because it pulled me out of the weeds. And so it's much more than just productivity as you probably learned it. It's more about being efficient and a good steward of your mission, your time, your activities, and what you allow to go
That
on your
will preach.
calendar. Man, I'm on a roll right now.
Trafficandfunnels.com/pro, PRO.
All right, that's it.
Au revoir.
See you guys.
Thanks for listening. For more from Chris and Taylor, visit trafficandfunnels.com and get a free gift just for being a subscriber. That's trafficandfunnels.com.